a Raider, always a Raider. And we're excited to welcome to this group and see how they can throw. Right out of the gate, the speedster, the great Jacoby Ford, will be the first one we bring up. Let's hear it for Jacoby. We've been waiting to do this.
Oh, close.
He threw a lot of balls at the pitch. He did not get it. How about one of the great offensive linemen that played for the Silver and Black? Donald Penn is here.
Look out. Close. Close.
Whoa.
Lamarr Houston is coming back along with Grant Irons.
All right.
They don't have to throw. They don't have to throw. If they want to throw, they can throw. I know you do, so you can throw again. If you don't want to throw it, you do not have to throw. Of course you want to throw, Grant.
Y'all ready?
Put it in the hole.
Five spot. Nice job. That's our high score of the trip. That's our high score of the trip. And Roland Williams is here. Look at that. You don't have to do anything.
Oh.
We're not sure. All right, everybody, our panel discussion is one I've really been looking forward to because these gentlemen have a lot in common, but a lot of this discussion is going to be about what they've done after retirement, after their careers with the Silver and Black. So, Jacoby, I'm going to start with you. Once a Raider, always a Raider. What does that statement mean to you?
I think you're looking at it. I think it means it doesn't matter if you've been in the Silver Black for a minute, an hour, day, or two. Just depends on your time there, what you do with it when you're there. And then you get to see all of us all come back and kind of intertwine with each other through different decades of playing this game. You know, we get to be around all these great legends of this game and kind of get to learn about them. They get to learn about us. And it's honestly just been beautiful to see and to be a part of. And, you know, just always kind of feels like home anytime I'm always around these guys.
Nicely said. Donald, once a Raider, always a Raider. What does it mean to you?
Man, it means a lot because I grew up a Raider fan. So, you know, growing up a Raider fan and going to the Coliseum, watching some of these old guys up in here, I love my OGs. It was like a dream come true, becoming a Raider, but I played for it. My man, OG. Sorry.
You go, Harry.
But I forgot what I was saying. But I played in Tampa for 8 years before I became a Raider, and the difference in the love and the difference in the gratitude we get from the fans, it's on a total another level. You guys are great. I mean, I've been lucky enough to travel a couple places out of the country, and it doesn't matter where I go. I've been to Panama, everywhere. Raider fans will come find me. They're everywhere, and I love it. I just love the way you guys support. You guys always show up and show out, whether it's going good or going bad. I mean, it's just a great statement to Raider Nation.
Lamarr?
Well, I think, like Jacoby said, this is what it means. Once a Raider, always a Raider. It doesn't matter if you were there for 1 day, a year, 3 years. You're always a Raider, and the fans are going to treat you that way. They're going to talk about the times you were a Raider. So, like Jacoby said, it's important when you are a Raider, take advantage of that opportunity, give it everything you got, give it to the fans, they give it back to you, and it's a true family.
Yeah, Grant?
I love it. It means everything, right? You know, to be here, you know, to spend this time with these legends, you know, yeah, I love spending time. These are my brothers right here that I played with during my time. But it's even more special to spend this with Jerry Robinson, Willie Gold. I mean, Kenny King, Henry Lawrence. I mean, there's so many, Reggie Kinlaw. For us, you know, we've heard stories about these legends, right? And one thing that my father, my mother told me growing up is that, you know, these players that are here, they paved the way for us. You know, now you see these big contracts and the things that we get. That wasn't by happenstance. That was by the sacrifices off the shoulders of these legends that are here. So for us, these players, we want to give these players, these older players, their flowers because they made a huge difference in the way we go about on a day-to-day. So, you know, shout out to these players. Shout out to the NFL wives and girlfriends that are here, right? Give them a shout out. So, you know, it just means everything, JT.
Good job, Craig.
Nicely said. Well, for you?
I think to me it means loyalty and love. You know, I played for the Rams, got drafted there. Our first year with the Rams, we was the worst team in the league. We was 4-12, laughing stock. And there was no love in St. Louis. They gave away the tickets, put them on windshields, you know what I'm saying? Stadium was empty. Folks would rather stay in tailgate than come into the game. The next year we won the Super Bowl and everything changed. And all of a sudden it was mad love, loyalty. Everybody love us now. We the best thing since sliced bread. But having the chance to play for the Raiders, I realized that while we did win for most of our time, you know, there was times where we you know, no Turner years, we were struggling. There things weren't right. And never in any of that time was there any lack of love. The Raider Nation is real. They love you through the ups, through the downs. So many tattoos, with people with tattoos with Raiders on their body. So many kids with kids named after players. Like, it's crazy. The love is real. And they literally would knock somebody out for the opposing team. We have frozen batteries. I mean, the stories, man, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the stories are so real. And so I'm like, man, you can't get a more loyal group of fans, a more loyal organization. Even Al Davis, the love he showed for a lot of players towards the end of their careers. So the Raider Nation is a real thing. It's loyalty and it's love.
Nicely said. Nicely said. And Donald, I'll start with you. It's very difficult for any athlete in any sport to go out on top, to win a Super Bowl and retire an NBA title. Take us through your path at the end of your career and the decision that you had to make going into retirement and stop playing. Take us through that story.
Well, it was a tough decision. I could have played year 15. I had a couple of offers. Buffalo offered me to be a swing guy. Raiders were talking about bringing me back too, but it was the whole COVID thing. And I was going through a custody battle with my kids. They were trying to move them to Texas, and they wanted to stay in LA, so I was going through the court system with that. And at the end of the day, I ended up winning the thing. And the kids ended up staying with me in LA for months, but I had to make that sacrifice because if I would have left to go play with Buffalo, which I was really close to signing with, I would have lost that battle automatically. And you know, it played out well. My kids are happy. Moms came back to LA, and we had that, but I had to make that big sacrifice to not play in year 15. And it was kind of like a sweet deal too, because Buffalo wanted me to be a backup swing guy. And that season, they went to the AFC Championship, and their tackles never got hurt, so I would have just been sitting there collecting that money all year. But God had other plans, man. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it again, because you know, my kids come first. But that's how my career kind of went out.
Jacoby, what about for you when your career finally came to an end? What was that decision for you and your family?
For me, I think mine was probably just a little more bitter for me, because I kind of felt like I got pushed out of Oakland. I felt towards the end of my career. So it just got to a point where I wasn't dressing, didn't really never get an answer why. You know, just would show up to game day, then I wouldn't see I would just see my jersey there, and I'm like, all right, so I'm not dressing out. So then I was finished with the Raiders that year, and I remember coach at the time said, we're just going to go a different direction. I said, okay, no problem. Just took that on the chin. Went to the Jets. I signed with them in that offseason. Got cut at the third game. They said they wanted to see me do kickoff returns more, but they didn't give me a chance. Then I was out of football for a year. Had a workout with Hugh, actually, at the Bengals. Thought I was going to get signed, but they had like a ball boy throwing me footballs. Was very uncomfortable. It was bad. So I was out of football for a year. Kind of got my mind right. Got picked up by the Titans in January. Had to run 40, everything. I think I went out there and ran a 4.29, 4.3 flat. Still just off it. And honestly, I ended on a good note with them because I feel like I played my best football. Kind of almost reminded me of my rookie year because I was doing special teams. I was doing everything, and I did everything I could to make that team. And I literally got cut with I think like an hour left of the deadline. But I thought I'd get another workout again. But that was the last time I put on a uniform. But now it's cool now. I've accepted it, and I have a beautiful life, beautiful wife. I have a daughter, so it's good enough for me.
Thanks for sharing that. Roland, for you, what was the path like to the end of your playing career?
It was interesting. One of the things I regret, I got hurt during my time here with the Raiders. I didn't get a chance to be my best version of myself to a team that I love so much because of Al and all those things. And so I ended up having a series of injuries. I'll go through them real quick. We're playing the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I get tackled and I tear a ligament in my big toe, and it got real bad, and it was going to require a surgery at the end of the season. But I wanted to be a tough guy and keep playing with my buddies, Grant, Link, and all the guys. And so I used to get injections in my foot every week, and I was still balling. I didn't practice. Remember, I was in a boot, but I didn't play. I had to wear a size 18 shoe, and it was great. And I got through the whole season to the end of the year. We played the Chiefs again at home. Muddy game, end of the game, fourth quarter. I'm blocking, and Zach gets slid up under me, and boom, blow out my knee on the same foot. The doctors never saw injury like that before. They said you got a torn surgery on that, and the knee, and the world. So I didn't know what to do. Anyway, we went on to go to the Super Bowl that year, right? Playoffs. Doug Jolly, you remember him? The young kid came in out of BYU, did an outstanding job, and really filled in. I was grateful for that, and sad we lost that game. But for me in my career, it went crazy. I had to go a year. I couldn't jog after a year. Bruce Allen and them at the time was like, "Ro, we can't pay you a couple $1 million. You can't even jog." I was like, I know, I can't jog, right? And so I went down to Arizona, rehab, and as soon as I went down to Arizona, Coach Gruden was calling and said, "Man, they're silly, man. As soon as you get healthy, come on to the Bucs." And I'm like, "Well, all right." So I worked out the whole year, and in week 12, I signed with the Bucs. I went down to the Bucs, man, and realized it sucks down there with the Bucs. Hot, humid, mosquitoes, nasty. I said, "Man, this is the worst." But I was down there though for 6 weeks saying, "Thank you, Grudon, for the shot." And then Bruce Allen, remember, he left and came down to Tampa. He came to Tampa, and whatever contract I had was gone. Then, was it Mike Lombardi? Who was it? Lombardi, right, was a GM. I came back to the Raiders and played there for another year or so in my career. Injuries was challenging and tough, Grant and all the guys. And then I ended up going back to the Rams for my last year in the league and blew out this knee. And from the knee down, my foot was faced the opposite direction. Now, as a big tight end, known for his blocking, not for his speed, that's too much for this big boy to handle. So I had to shut it down. So my career was great. I had 2 tours with the Raiders, loved every bit. And but your body is your body, and that's a part of this game, everybody. Men here have to endure a lot physically to play in the NFL, and the injuries impact us long after it's over. But I'm sure nobody would have traded it for the world. We love the game, and it's a part of it for sure.
Wow, that's a pretty startling story. Yes. Lamarr, some athletes end their careers because of what Roland said, an injury. Some get to go out on their own. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I had a few injuries that I battled with in my career, and thank God I was able to come back and play a little bit. But towards the end, it's football. It doesn't last for long. So I think in the last few games I was in Chicago. I played 4 games. I had like 5 sacks. I was ecstatic. I thought the next year that I would get picked up and have another opportunity to play again. I went in to try out for the Jets. It was kind of like the funniest thing ever. Kevin Smith, rest in peace, he was the outside linebacker coach. And I finished the workout and I came into his office. And he goes, what did you do? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, tell me what you do. Were you late to meetings? Did you cuss the coach out? Did you get into a fight? Why did Chicago let you leave? I mean, you could come here and start. I was like, I have no idea. I did nothing to anybody, ever. And so it came to a point where, my agent was making the wrong moves and they offered me a vet minimum and you had a guy there before, blah, blah, blah. So, I walked up the building and that was the last time I had an opportunity to play football. So I did a few more workouts. I was like, look, by August of 2019, if nobody picks me up, I am going to go do other things because there's other things I can be doing with my time instead of working out all day. So I chose myself to have a cutoff date in August. And once I didn't hear from that moment, I just said, okay, well, that's season. It's been great.
Excellent. Okay, Grant, for you, how did it end for you as a player?
Yeah, I was actually fortunate. My mother and father always taught myself and my brothers, never put all your eggs in one basket, right? And so for me, I played from 2002 to 2008, and they always taught me, hey, whatever you do in life, always keep moving. Always keep moving forward. And so I actually wanted to retire while I was young, healthy, and then transition into my second career. So I did a leadership program at Stanford, and then from there I jumped into the medical device field. So I've been doing medical device about 20 years, selling shoulder, rotator cuff surgeries, ACL and knee surgeries. Then I was an executive of a company called Baxter. We used to sell artificial kidneys and hemodialysis machines. And then I started selling medical devices for hearts and brains. But I always just had a vision. It's like, hey, I love football, but I didn't want it to be my end-all, be-all. And so for me, I wouldn't trade it, like Rose said, wouldn't trade it for anything in the world to have these experiences with my brothers, with Raider Nation, right? But to have the opportunity to do what I do now and what I love, helping people in healthcare, and I do a lot in nonprofit. I'm an executive partner of one of the largest nonprofits called Samaritas. We focus on adoption and foster care, really helping children and families throughout that entire process. So I love it.
That's a great transition. Thank you. You must have seen my note cards, because the next question is going into normal life, if there is a normal life for an athlete, professional athlete. And Donald, I'll start with you. What was it like? You talked about maybe having one more year left. It didn't work out that way. How long did it take you mentally to kind of get into a role of just being the dad and moving on to the next stage of your life?
Man, it was tough because I felt like I could still play. I felt like I had it still in me. I felt like I was very athletic. I took care of my body, and I could still go. But transitioning and spending more time with my kids, start coaching my son's football team. Man, it gets no better than that. Being with my family, my kids, it made it a lot smoother, made it a lot easier. And then getting back into coaching my son's football, it kind of made me feel like I had missed a beat. I was right back into it, but I'm with a different group of guys to where I'm teaching now. And with the high school kids, I love being around it because when I have my foundation, I always do stuff with kids. I want to make kids better. So with these high school kids, I'm just not teaching football, I'm teaching life lessons. I hold them accountable. I hold them to high standards. I'm constantly telling them, make sure you be respectful to your parents, opening the doors for girls. Little stuff like that. I don't tolerate stuff when I'm on the campus. I'm trying to not just give them football, I'm trying to give them life lessons. And, I've been coaching high school for the last 2 years, and hearing the parents come up and thank me and tell me how appreciative they are, it makes me feel good. But having my kids probably made it the easiest transition and just falling into that life, because I was always a hands-on dad, but then being able to be like a full hands-on dad, like I cook dinner like 3 times a week when I have them and stuff like that, you know. Doing stuff like that, I got a good little routine.
Awesome. Jacoby, you got an interesting path. So when you came out of playing and you shared that story, how long did it take for you to transition and get back into the world that you're in right now?
I actually jumped right into the medical devices world, believe it or not, when I first, it was my first job. I started working with Arthrex. I lived in Birmingham, Alabama for about a year, and we were the southeast region of the year, they had just won it, and they were still on the pace to win it again, and they did. And I was still staying active then. I would do flag football there with some guys. But one of the deals when I was there with the guy that I was working with was to coach football, because Chris Donnelly. So Chris Donnelly is Dabo Swinney's best friend. He was his best man at his wedding, and he's the one that gave me the job in Birmingham, Alabama. And he's like, all right, well, you come down here, part of the deal, help me coach football team. I said, cool, no problem. And my private school in Florida is a private Catholic school, and this school is called Briarwood. It reminded me of my high school. And little did I know that would become what my profession would start to be 9 years later. I won a state championship this past season at West Boca, where I do coach now. Going back again this year, so I'm trying to get another one. But the transition's been good now since I've been able to train the guys for the combine as well at my gym at XPE. So we just got done with the combine guys and the pro day guys. So the last few months have been pretty busy for us. And on top of that, I have my daughter. She's always with me at practice as well. So just like Big Penn says, when you are around these high school kids, you do want to just instill, not just football, you want to instill life lessons with them as well. And they always have to know they have to wash their mouth a little bit, because they have a little 4-year-old running around. So she can literally start coming. She has become coming home and saying like, "Hey, is this word okay?" But she kind of knows and understands. But there's no greater feeling than giving back and instilling into these kids, and then actually just seeing their hard work pay off. And I tell them that I'm not going to tell you anything that you're not going to hear at the next level. So that when you get there, you're not going to be shocked. So that's been fulfilling and rewarding for me.
Excellent. We're hearing a lot about positive parenting. I like this. Lamarr, you got a really interesting path with your career now. Tell everybody what the transition was like. It was a tough one. You had a lot left in the tank here, but you're having a really successful career outside of football.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm fortunate to be someone who enjoys to listen when people speak. So that paid off for me while I was in Oakland, because I heard the player development person talk about a course at Stanford Business School. And I was like, wow, they're doing a small business course at Stanford? I want to go and check this out. So I went and did a small business course at Stanford, and then I did another one at Michigan, then I did another one in Notre Dame, and did another one in Miami. And by the time, I retired and got out of football, I was like very interested in venture capital. I befriended a mentor at the Notre Dame business course who was the underwriting lawyer for the Levi Strauss Center downtown San Francisco. And while I was playing, he would always send me startups to review and just give him like my dissertation of how they'll do the market, how their product will last, this and that. And I used to try and give him like 2 sentences and be like, bro, I'm actually playing right now, so I can't write you a whole thing. And he's like, no. I want you to go in depth about why this company will do well and why the product will do well. So when I got out of football, I was like, man, I don't want to do anything that, I felt like wasn't a multiplier. So I didn't want to do franchising, I didn't want to flip houses. And I was like, what do I want to do that's competitive, that has you working, that has you thinking? And I fell back into venture capital. Started doing some classes and some partnerships with 500 startups in Miami. Was getting ready to do a players venture capital course during COVID, before COVID hit, and that got canceled. But a little bit before that, in January 2020, I started a smart vending machine company called Box Tech. At first it was for cannabis, and then we pivoted and did alcohol, and now I've done 3 Super Bowls, I've had partnerships with Jack Daniels, etc. I'm actually opening a hotel in Palm Springs after I get off the cruise. So life after football for me was good because I've always wanted to do business, and I naturally fell into that business role, and I've been able to, hang my hat on that and be with my kids and, you know, educate myself some more and really try to grow as a person.
Wow. A lot there. Roland, I know a little bit about, we've done Chalk Talks together and talked about your family and your life. Tell everyone what it was like to get out of football and then get into the world that you're living in today.
Yeah, I've always sort of thought of myself as a multi-dimensional person with so many sides of who I am, and I felt like in life after football, it was a chance to try to explore all of those things. So when I first got out, I got into broadcast for a while, for about 10 years. Worked for ESPN, worked for Fox, worked for ABC. At my peak of my powers, when Versus Network was acquired by NBC, I was a part of the first college football crew with Doug Flutie, Liam, and myself was in 30 Rock doing college football, and that was pretty cool. You know, I wasn't a Hall of Famer, but it was cool. I ended up ultimately losing my job 3-4 years later to Heinz Ward. But I had it, but I was like, right, he's a Hall of Famer. But we had a great time, and it was great. I grew up sort of in a challenged environment, and so affordable housing was something that was a value to me. So I got into affordable housing and did that for a while. And I was sort of a serial entrepreneur, honestly, for a lot of my time, and lost some, won some. Before COVID, as fate would have it, I got into medical manufacturing. I raised like 50 million bucks, which was pretty cool. And at one point, we were one of the largest manufacturers of disposable gloves in the country. And that was fun and bittersweet, and we found out some people were stealing a lot of money from us. But all of these things are lessons and journeys. Now I'm focused on real estate developing and being a dad too. I got 3 boys. My oldest is 22, entrepreneur in college. My middle son is a big play wide receiver for the Huskies. He's a freshman there now. Justice Williams, number 16. And then I have an 8th grader, and I coach middle school football. And so, yeah, so that's pretty cool.
All right, as I said earlier, as we get this off, I want to bring it up to this current team. I think we got a lot of people in this room who are passionate about where the franchise is at today. And when you see Henry Lawrence with 3 Super Bowl rings, and Kenny King and Reggie Kinlaw with 2, Jerry Robinson, a great player, Napoleon McCallum, all the other gentlemen that have been on this stage, I want to ask you specifically, and I'll start with you, Donald. This team now has had a lot of turnover since they moved to Vegas. A lot of good players were drafted. There's been some mistakes along the way. All the coaches and GMs wanted to win. Now we got this guy, Pete Carroll, that has one. And he can walk out on the field right in front of Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, all the coaches in that division and say, I beat you. And I beat you multiple times. I can do this. Sean Payton, for an example here. What do you think this team needs to learn from players like yourself that have won and played in big games to turn this around quickly? I'm talking about taking a 4-win team to 9, 10, 11 wins and find lightning in a bottle.
They got to be a little bit meaner and tougher. I feel like this Raider team is not like the Raiders of old and all. Like when I came to the Raiders, I was like, damn, I can be myself now. I can be that dude that, you know what I'm saying? I can be myself. I can be the dude that would punch somebody in the face. One thing about me, I never started nothing, but I finished it. And I feel like we don't have that mentality. Like it even starts like some of our home games. There's too many other teams. There's too many other people from another team in there. You know, it starts with that. I think Pete Carroll's gonna come in and bring in a great system. He's gonna hold everybody accountable. It's gonna be it's gonna be. I'm trying to get the word I'm looking for. It's gonna be more stern. I feel like I love AP, but I feel like it was a little loose. It needs to be a little bit more focus going in there. And more structure, yeah, more structure. There we go. There needs to be more structure. And if you look at Pete Carroll's team, he's always had that structure, and he's always won. And I feel like if it's not this year, it might not be exactly this year, but I think if not next year, we're definitely going to be rolling. But I think they brought in a great coach and a great leader of men. He's done it from the college level to the pros, and I feel like he's surrounded himself with a great group of guys. And let's see what we do in this draft. But I think we can do it, if not next year, definitely the year after that.
Lamarr, you're nodding your head along. It seems like you agree with a lot of this. What do you think needs to happen quickly in this training camp, heading into the preseason, to get this team on the same page?
Yeah, like D. Penn said, the structure. And I think one thing that, people don't understand is Al Davis, his football IQ was very, 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 very high. He had high football IQ. A lot of guys don't. I don't think I have the high football IQ, but some guys have really high football IQ and it shows. And I think now they have those type of minds in the building who are very sharp football IQ people who are going to make moves that will make the franchise a more structured football franchise. Some of it may be uncomfortable in the beginning, but I think what they're going to build is something that's sustainable. And that's what Lincoln Kennedy's talking about, no consistency. We can't sustain the players, the coaches, the front office like we should, but I think we have in place the football minds to do that right now.
Jacoby, your game was speed. We have Trey Tucker, got Bowers, who I think is already a top 15 player in the entire league. Geno Smith comes in, depending on running back here in the draft. What do you think this team needs to do to get more explosive and get some plays going downfield for some big chunk yards?
I definitely think we need to go get a running back. I love the pickup with Geno because I think Geno's been playing at a very high level the past few years. Top 10, top 5 QB, the way that he's been playing. I think on the outside, I think we need to probably go get one more receiver. We have Trey who can take the top off. We have Brock who can do everything. Mayer, I think Mayer's going to be a good compliment because I know Pete Carroll does like 2 tight ends. He likes to run the ball. He's going to want to run the ball. I mean, just look at the success up there that they have with Seattle with Marshawn and all those guys up there. And I mean, he's a player's coach. He recruited me when I was coming out of high school. He found me all the way in Fort Union, Virginia at a military prep school. Sent one of his sons out there. I'll never forget. He sent one of his sons out there and they woke me up at my barracks probably about 4:30 in the morning saying that Southern Cal's here. I'm like, yeah, no, they're not. And I go in there and I see big guy stand up and he's one of Pete Carroll's sons. I'm like, oh shoot, he really is here. And I almost soft committed because they had Pete ready on the phone to talk. And so it's like 1 a.m. over there. I'm like, yeah, Pete, I'm coming. I'm like, wait, no, I'm not. I said, because I'm like, I haven't committed anywhere. And just right then and there, I knew he was going to be a player's coach because it was other players recruiting me. I had Bedell Hazleton recruiting me. Mark Sanchez was calling me there. And that just showed like how bad this guy would really want you if he wanted you. And I could just tell he's going to just bring that good camaraderie, that good family atmosphere. And he's going to have those guys ready to play because that's what I've always seen with that Seattle teams when he's coached.
That is a great Pete Carroll story. Pete Carroll. Grant, what would you say?
Yeah, I echo all these sentiments, right? I think that as Pete Carroll has been all of his career, every team that he's been on, the signature attribute is that they play hard and they play with effort. And to bring that over to the Raider Nation, you look at Max Crosby, he always playing balls out, he's playing max effort. We can duplicate that every position on the defense and the offense and special teams. It's only going to rise the level of play. And so I welcome it. I think we're going to hit the ground running. I think they're going to come in, he's going to set the tone. This is what we expect. We expect to compete. And I think that's all you can ask for. So I think we'll have a great season.
All right, Roland, what would you say to this team?
I think one of the things I love about where I believe it's headed, because they know how to win, you have to customize your team to match the players that you have in this moment in NFL history. This division that the Raiders are in is extremely competitive. Don't try to be something you're not. We got the best tight end, I believe, in the NFL. You can build behind him. We have a quarterback that he's not the best quarterback in the league, but he's certainly darn good. And we have a defense that could be bend but don't break. And so I think it's just important that we just stay who we are and be comfortable where that is this year. You draft some big players and develop them. We can be different next year. But I think that's the key to this progression, is for us all to be loyal and faithful and realize it's a process. And we should see improvement this year and then the next year. But I think by year 3, the Raiders will be in the conversation to go win another ring for sure. I think it's a progression.
Absolutely. All right, my final question for all you gentlemen before we open it up to questions is, you've been unbelievable talking to the fans on this trip. They feel like they know you, and I feel like the fans are having this amazing experience. If you could just say something about this trip so far, I'll start with you, Lamarr, about what the fans mean to you and what this means for you to have the ability to interact with so many people you've never met, and now you feel like you really know them with a couple days left here.
I think it's been amazing. You know, the fans, I always tell everybody this when they see me on the ship, they make the Raider Nation. They make us who we are. You know, they help build that Raider mystique. You know, I know maybe a lot of these guys in Oakland, the best part was I got a lot of energy from the black hole. Like, I would love, before the game, I'd have to. That's one of the things I'd have to do before the game, I should have said earlier. I have to go by the black hole. I have to get all the hands and just get real pumped up, because I know that's who's going to be behind me in the game besides my teammates, is going to be the Raider Nation. And to see these people come out like this to the cruise ship with their costumes and their paint and just the true dedication that they have for the organization is, you know, it's everything. And I'm happy you guys have me here. Thank you, Seaside. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I really appreciate you guys for you showing your appreciation and love for us as Raiders.
Awesome. Donald, how about you? You've gotten to know a lot of fans from Mikasa, Mikabo, going out. We've seen a lot of fans together on this trip. Tell us about it.
Now, this is my first cruise, and it was amazing. I was a little worried at first, 'cause I thought the whole boat was gonna be Raider fans. So I was like, man, am I gonna be able to go anywhere? But it's been real cool because it's been spread out. You guys have been great. And you know, the best part is, I think the dinners, you know, to sit there and sit, like I got to know them very, very, very well the other night and stuff. And they got to ask some questions that, you know, you probably wouldn't be able to ask me ever again. And then you guys get to see me and know me outside of football and get to see how I am a normal person. Get to see how I am when I'm partying too, you know? We got to party together too. So I think that's big for the fans to be able to see us and know we still normal people too. Just got a little extra talent, but we still normal people do the same stuff as you guys. So I enjoy it.
How about you, Jacoby? You and your wife seem to be having an unbelievable experience here. You're the perfect ambassador for a Raider cruise. What have you liked about it? What would you like to say to the fans?
Thank you. Thank y'all for having us. Thank y'all for just coming to hang out with us and just really get to know us. Because I know you guys just always really see us on the field with just the helmets on. And it's very rare you get to be around us without the helmet on, kind of see us in our not football mode. Like I said, Penn, you can see us in a party mode, serious mode. And you know, then we get to learn about you as well. You know, and that's something that, you know, I definitely think that we need more of. And it's hard to do that just off social media. Because sometimes the messages can get a little overwhelming. Can't get back to everybody at the right time. And then, you know, we just get to go out here and have these great dinners with y'all, see you walking through. Like I said, you speak, you say hello, you know, take a picture with us and everything. Penn loved that one. And we just, you know, we appreciate it. You know, it just means a lot. And I don't think that, and I've just had countless messages from guys from other organizations that obviously are not Raiders because it's not good enough. But just told them that, hey, you guys aren't doing it like us because this is the best organization, best fan base, and they've just been very jealous of what we've been able to do. And honestly, it's been a beautiful turnout, and I have a feeling it's going to be even better next year. So thank you.
For sure. Brian, how about you? You're good at this.
I totally agree. Everything that was said. I want to thank you all, Raider Nation, for welcoming all the players, right? We really, truly appreciate everything that y'all been showing us love from day one. And to have special time, like you said, the dinners, the events, even the party last night. That party was lit, right? That was a good time. So for us to really have these experiences, to understand y'all's background, y'all's backstory, it means a lot for us to understand, right? And honestly, JT, it really feels like we're all family, right? And, you know, you think about Raider Nation, I mean, this thing runs deep. The love, we're all connected by the love of the Raiders. And for us to have this time, this quality time all together, it means the world. And we're creating lifelong memories. And let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, nice. You know, Roland, I think That's a good way to wrap up this panel. It's about lifetime memories, and it feels like everyone is really having a great connection.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you to everybody for showing so much love to everybody. And the greatest thing about this is whether you played 1 year with the Raiders or 15 years with the Raiders, right? The love has been dispersed to everybody. It's love to us. I've enjoyed learning about all the people who become a part of the Raider Nation because of their significant other. And it's just an extended family that's been big. In fact, everyone else who's not a part of this cruise, they're so jealous. They're so jealous. They wish they was a part of the Raider Nation. So I think we added to the Raider Nation during this cruise because of the loyalty, the camaraderie, and a real genuine feeling of family that no one else has in the National Football League. So I salute everybody. Thank you for being so amazing. We love you, Raider Nation. Thank you for making us all feel at home during this time of year.
As always, let's get a couple of questions for this panel. If you could just raise your hand. We got mics on this side first. See a couple hands up there.
So this question is for Jacoby Ford. You mentioned earlier that we need a receiver. There's rumors that Hunter Renfro's at the headquarters. Who would you want the Raiders to get for receiver?
Draft a free agent.
Yeah, draft.
Draft
Or free agent, whatever.
Man, I think we need a big receiver. Like I said, we need somebody that has like a bigger body type, like Jacoby, but probably just a little faster. I think that'll be what we need. I think that's what we need. We need somebody that can go up and be that dominant, like X receiver. Whenever you need it on third downs, like that's that guy that you're gonna go throw it to, because you know that guy's gonna go over there and win your one-on-one matchup. And I think once we start to get that dominant receiver, because we already have Brock. And I mean, hey, if you want to put Brock outside, we can go line him up and get a mismatch that way. So I just think we got to just, I already know, not think, I know he's going to utilize all his tools to be successful. He's going to do what the players do well. And I think that's something that I've seen him do over the years is play to the player's strengths and, just enhance it from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
During off season, I'm curious, what does that look like for you guys? How often do you have to check in, or do the Raiders check in on you, saying, "Hey"? Yeah, exactly. So
Donald, here we go, Donald. When they're checking on you,
I'm telling you.
What does it look like?
Every football team I played for, they knew they had to give me a big incentive for me to show up in April. And that was the only way I showed up. Because I had my regiment, but we usually don't come back to the team until about mid-April. If you're not really doing no negotiations or anything, you really don't talk to the team. The coaches might check in there, but our workouts really start in April, and then we go until about the middle of June, and then we get another month off before training camp starts. But a lot of people, I had incentives in my, because they know I love LA, so they had to get me up out of there. So they had to pay me to come work out, so I could come. But I would never miss OTAs though, because I had to learn the playbook over again and do all that. But just workouts. I would go, but they start in April. We don't hear usually from the team until you get back there in April.
Okay, next one.
Okay, I just want to say, I don't want to say that. It's hard being a Raider fan. It's hard. I live in Vancouver, Washington. I bleed silver and black. I got Seattle fans surrounding me. They don't give me a break. So all that to say, this cruise is so important. And to see you guys are human, I mean, you guys are like our superheroes. And to be able to hang out with you and to have fun with you and over there, just to see you guys are really human, I just want to thank you guys. It makes it a lot easier for us to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. And I bought also Alumni Rolls Royces, but we got to go to Puerto Vallarta to pick them up. So thanks, guys. Really,
I'm going to go.
Oh, look at that. All right, a couple more.
This isn't really a question for you guys, but we know how important your significant others are. And if you guys have one here. I would love you to introduce them so we can give them some love, because I know how important that is to have that family.
Stand up, stand up. I used to stand up, girl. Stand up.
Stand up, baby girl.
We appreciate you.
Right here, this is mine. That one right there is mine. Oh, I was gonna get the
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to ask questions and such. Clearly the Raiders have been leaders in representing football out at the ownership level and Art at the coaching level. But what was the influence that Gene Upshaw had as the NFL Player Association's representative?
I tell you what, that saved me a lot because I got in a few fights and had to get some fines taken down. So
I think one of the best things was him being a player and knowing where we came from and everything we needed and knowing what we wanted, because he played for so long. So I think him being a player was such a big impact in helping us, because he knew everything. He knew what we were going through. So when he went in those meetings, he stood firm.
Yeah, if you can, and to follow up, if you can hand the microphone to Kenny King. Kenny, I want to ask you about Gene Upshaw, a teammate of yours, when you found out that he was going to be in charge of the union at that time, a very unique moment in NFL history and Raider history to have a former teammate in that role.
You know, it was an honor. I mean, because Gene was a great guy. He was a great leader, and I felt that Gene did a great job for us as the president of the Alumni Association. And now we can even go even deeper than that, because there's all of these fun things that you have as traits. There's things that you get from the fun relations, because this is what Gene put together and the organization. So he did a great job.
Henry, you can give your comments at your concert tonight. At your concert tonight. At your final concert tonight. We'll get your comments at your final show. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank our panel. Now we have something really cool. Those who came here, we appreciate it. We're going to do a group photo with all of us. So we need the alumni here in the first couple rows. Alumni up on, everyone in the back. We need you to fill in. I'm assuming we're taking the picture from the stage here and out. So everybody kind of come on down. The photo's going to go from here out to the crowd. And if you're right there in the low row, stay there. You got a good spot. We're going to take the picture from the stage on back.
Maybe you want to come around? Come around down here? Yeah.
So alumni, turn around this way. Turn around this way. Look towards me. The photo's going this way. So everybody to fill in this way. The photo's going out that way.
Dana.
Alumni in the first two rows, please. Yeah, if you're in the front row, you can sit, and then everybody can